Hi, everyone. I'm Chef B. I want to welcome you to our cooking series. I'm very excited about this because I'm really, really happy to share what I know and hopefully give you some new techniques to help you prepare your meals. As Sonia said, this class is focusing on leafy greens, and I want to talk about the number of different leafy greens that you can use in many, many different ways. So that's going to be, I'm going to pair up some leafy greens with a traditional Italian pasta called aglio olio. And I'm going to make that in the second part of this class. So we'll talk more about what greens I'm using, and possibly they're the same greens that you might have received in your food box. But I think I'm going to start off by talking about some greens that we may not normally think that we can eat. And you can see here that I've got a bunch of carrots. You might have received some of these carrots, or maybe you buy carrots with greens. So what I thought I would do with these greens is make a pesto. Actually quite similar to a basil pesto, but I'm going to use the greens, the carrot top greens. So I'm just going to go ahead and chop this off, and I'm going to put these carrots to the side for now. And those are going to be roasted, as a matter of fact. Which I've roasted some ahead of time to go with this meal that I'm making today. So I'm just going to go ahead and chop some of the stems into big pieces here. It'll break down a little bit better in the food processor or hand blender. Also, I just want to mention the way I'm holding this knife. As you can take a good look here at how I'm holding this knife. You want to hold the handle and be very sturdy, and you always want to make sure to hold your hand with your fingertips tucked underneath. And as you're chopping, the blade is going to rest on your knuckles, and you'll never risk cutting your fingertips. It feels a little bit awkward at first, but the more you do it, the more it feels correct. So I'm going to go ahead and wash these carrot top in a bowl of cold water, which I have right here. We're just going to soak that for a few minutes. And we're going to wash those up. So once they're washed up, we're just going to put them in a strainer, which is right here. And I'm going to blanch them. So the reason I'm going to blanch these carrot stems is because the stems are quite thick, and they're also, when you eat it raw like this, it tends to be bitter. But if you blanch them for a few minutes in just a little bit of salted water, just a minute or so, just a minute, really, just over a minute maybe. Just put a little bit of salt in there. Just go ahead and put them right in there. I'll get rid of this. So put this back over here. And I'm going to get my tongs. We're just going to make sure that the greens are fully immersed into the boiling water. And we're just going to let that go for about a minute. I'm just going to start preparing some of the other ingredients that I'm going to put into this pesto. Maybe you've all had basil pesto. It seems to be a more common one. So I'm going to sort of treat it the same way. I'm going to put in some garlic right here. And I'm not going to put too much because it's quite strong. So I'll just put in a little bit of garlic. So I'll get that peeled and ready to go. You may want to chop it into a couple of pieces. What's over here? Wipe this up. All right. Just maybe break that down. Maybe just a clove of garlic. And I'm also going to put in a little bit of lemon, which I have here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the carrot tops right into a bowl of ice cold water. We just want to stop the cooking. We want to stop the cooking, so we're just going to take this out of here. Okay, and we're gonna let this cool down for now. Okay, just for a few minutes. Okay, we're gonna let this cool down. And I'm just gonna reach over, to get the food processor. I'll be right back. Okay. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to wind up using my immersion blender for this. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and now put the greens into a container. Put this down here. And we're going to put in a little bit of olive oil into this canister. Olive oil and some, here's olive oil, the garlic. I have a little bit of a grated Parmesan cheese, if you have it. If not, it's fine. And a little bit of lemon juice. Just watch that you don't put the seeds into this mixture. Okay, a little bit of lemon juice. And then we're going to puree this together. I think we need a little bit more liquid. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so I pureed this till it's very, very smooth. And once I plate up our meal at the end of this class, I will show you how smooth this is. Is anybody cooking along with me?
I don't think we have anyone cooking it along right now, but people getting some tips for later. We did have a quick question.
Sure.
Could we substitute nutritional yeast for the cheese if we had a dairy allergy?
Oh, yes.
Me and my sister are cooking along.
Pardon?
Me and my sister are cooking along.
Oh, you are?
We are, yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. So what did you use to puree the stems?
Huh?
The carrot tops.
Pardon?
What are you using to puree the carrot tops?
Blender. A blender.
Oh, your blender. Okay, so did you have to add a little more olive oil or water or a regular oil?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you might have to add a little bit extra. You can add water. Water is fine.
No, olive oil.
Or what? No.
Now, lemon.
Okay. All right. So. So while my carrots are, I didn't roast them in front of you, but I have carrots roasting in the oven. So that goes beautifully with the carrot top pesto. So I'll show you that after. Right in front of me, I'll talk about the greens that I have. If you're cooking along with me, you may have to make sure you have a bowl of water to wash the leaves, because I've already pre-washed mine. They've already been pre-washed. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the greens that I'm going to use for the pasta. So I'm making a very traditional pasta called aglio olio, and I grew up with this type of pasta. My mother had a small restaurant when I was growing up, and she basically she has wonderful food memories that her grandparents brought with them from Italy. So my family, we've always been exposed to all these wonderful foods. So I thought that'd be a nice thing to share with you today. Also, in the Italian culture, basically it uses up, we use whatever we have in the fridge to make a meal. So I felt that this particular pasta dish is one of those dishes that you can add all kinds of things to. You can saute up, you can cook some chicken in a pan, you can throw in a can of beans, you can throw in some tomatoes. But the key element of this dish is olive oil or butter if you have butter. Usually you use some sort of oil. Quite a bit of garlic, a little bit of red pepper flakes, and the secret ingredient is the pasta water itself. So as the pasta is cooking, we'll save some of that starchy pasta water, and that creates a thin but sort of a creamy sauce that sticks to the noodles, and it's quite tasty. So in this case, I thought I would incorporate other types of greens. So I have right here some collard greens, and if it gets so, you might want to take off some of the bottom, like the really thick parts, and you can really use any kind of greens any type of greens that that you may have on hand. So I happen to have collard greens. I have some Swiss chard, some red stem Swiss chard. I have some kohlrabi tops. So just in case you're not familiar with that, where's the right here? Oops, this is what, I've already taken some of the greens off of here. This is what kohlrabi looks like. So, actually next week's class, it's going to be a class on roasting vegetables, many different vegetables. And this is going to be one of them, and it's delicious, I have to tell you. So that's what it looks like, and these are the leaves, and they're edible. So we're going to use those, and we're going to use some beet greens. So I'm just going to push them all together. Just going to move this out of the way for now. Right here. Okay. Turn this one off. Okay, so I'm gonna, as I'm cutting this up, I'm gonna get this prepared first. It gives you time to wash them if you're cooking along with me. Okay, so we're gonna cut them, sort of roll them up, cut them into small pieces, maybe about ½ an inch. Just like that. Now, what I had, I might not have shown you, but I put a little bit of, I'm just gonna add a little bit of mint into my pesto, and it leaves me with a couple of mint stems. Mint, and if you have any mint, if you don't, that's fine, but just for something for you to know. When you're cooking pasta, there's no reason why you can't throw herb stems into the water, especially if you're using the herbs for something else. So I was roasting some vegetables myself for dinner, and so I have the carrots. I have some mint stems from the pesto. So I have that. I'm going to throw that into my pasta water. I have some boiling water right here, and I'm going to add some salt to that. A little bit of salt. I'm going to throw in whatever stems I have. So I used some thyme leaves as well for my carrots and potatoes that I have for dinner. So I'm just going to throw those stems into the pasta water to flavor it. So I don't have to throw them out. Okay, so here's my greens. Now I'm just going to put this to the side for a second. We have the greens already. Let's put this on here for now. And we're going to be sauteing them in a minute. So I'll just push this off to the side here. All right, we wipe my counter down. Okay, I'm just going to switch off a pot here. 1 second, I'm going to move this one out of the way.
So Chef, for some of us who might not know what sauteing is, can you explain what it means to saute your vegetables?
Yes, I can. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to move some of my pots over. Actually, you know what, I'll do it this way. Okay, so, oops, I've got a big pan here, and I'm going to place it on the heat. So basically, sauteing means I'm going to put a little bit of some sort of fat in the pan. I happen to have olive oil. You can use sunflower oil, safflower oil, vegetable oil, canola oil. Somebody had mentioned another during another talk, coconut oil, and it's something I haven't tried, but a lot of people use coconut oil. So I would be curious to know if anybody chooses to try it with coconut oil. Let me know what that's like. So we're just gonna put some oil in this pan. And you can see, I have enough oil. Now, because I'm making this pasta, I'm gonna add a little more oil than I would usually add if I was sauteing something. I would probably use a tablespoon or so, two tablespoons of oil if I was sauteing some vegetables. We are gonna be quickly sauteing garlic and greens. So, okay, so this is on, it's good. So my pasta water is boiling here, and I'm going to take my pasta. And dry pasta works really, really well with this particular dish. You can use fresh pasta, but actually dry works well. It keeps, it holds everything together really, really, really well. So we're going to take about a pound of pasta, and we're going to drop it in the water, which has some herb stems, and it has some salt. You have to make sure you want to salt it. Here you go. So this is boiling away. Now you want to stay with your pasta until it's completely immersed into the boiling water. It's important to get it all in there and stir it up a little bit. I know some people put a little bit of oil in the pot. I don't think it's necessary to do so. Maybe if I was making lasagna and I'd be worried about the noodles sticking together, I might put a little bit of oil in the pot. But otherwise, you just want to stir it up just gently until all of it is immersed in the water. So mine isn't quite there yet. So I'm just going to mix it up just a little bit.
Chef, we were talking about using different kinds of oils, like you were saying earlier, and so someone was saying, Tribune was saying that they use vegetable oil to stir fry, but olive oil to marinate and saute. Do you use different kind of oils for different dishes? Yeah, yes. Like you might want to use a peanut oil or something for stir frying, something with a higher, has a higher like smoke point. So you can have it at a higher temperature and it won't burn. So it depends on what you're cooking. If you're doing something cooking foods on really, really high heat, you'd want an oil that can handle that. So yeah, I would say you have to think about that too. But I mean, in general, I mean, if you're watching what you're doing, if you're watching your pan, you often don't want to saute, like, you don't want it to be so hot that as soon as you put something in the pan, it's going to immediately burn. You can't do that with chopped garlic. You can't do, it'll just burn everything. So you have to, pay attention to that. Yeah, if you're doing a stir fry, you'd use it maybe a different type of oil. It's possible. Okay, so I have the pasta in the water, and the beauty of this dish is that by the time the pasta is ready, your sauce is ready. So this spaghetti is going to probably take between 8 to 10 minutes to cook. I like to cook it al dente. It has a bit of a firm bite,
that means that there's a bit of resistance when you bite into it. I like it that way. It's the way I would say if you go to Italy, if you're in Italy or you eat an Italian restaurant, it's often a little bit al dente. So you don't have to cook it that way. So it doesn't matter which way you like it, but that's how I'm going to cook it today. Especially if you want to cook pasta and then use it for something else at a later time, like maybe drain it, cool it down, and put a little bit of oil. You can put it in the fridge and cook it up at a later time. Okay. So as that's cooking, I don't want my oil to get too hot here. So I'm going to chop up some garlic right here. Okay, I'm going to chop up garlic. I can remember my mother. I'd come home and she'd be cooking this, and she made it quite often, but it was never the same. She kept adding different things to it all the time. One of her favorite ways to cook this was with the garlic and the greens, and she would throw in some type of like a cannellini bean or some kind of navy bean, and it's very delicious. It's a really good complete meal actually. Yeah, so maybe I should just do it like this and fast. Okay. I'll just crush it first. How's that? Now I can cut this up into pieces. I can chop it up fine. I can even just crush it and throw it into the oil. It doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as it's the same and it's even in size. I think, traditionally, you might want to slice it, thinly slice it. I'm going to thinly slice it today. I don't want it to burn. I want it to, I don't want it to take a chance of burning too quickly. Okay. So let me just get rid of that. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to slice it. Now, I'm putting quite a few cloves of garlic, but it depends. I might be putting too much for some of you, but maybe I'll just chop it. I'm gonna rough chop it. Okay. So I'm gonna put in my garlic. Okay. There we go. Back my spoon. All right. So there we go. So I'm going to cook this garlic for a good 2 or 3 minutes. We'll see. Depends how hot your oil is. Once it starts to turn golden brown on the edges, that's when you want to add your other food items. So in this case, if I had beans, I would throw in my can of beans. As soon as it started to turn golden brown, then I would throw the greens. But I don't have the beans today, so I'll just do the greens. Okay.
Other than beans, Chef, are there any other suggestions you'd have for adding to the spaghetti?
Yes, sliced chicken. I mean, you could add chicken. You could add different types of fish, shrimps, tomatoes. Garlic and tomatoes is the base for penne arrabbiata or a pasta arrabbiata, which is a sort of a familiar name. So basically, it's just a lot of garlic and a lot of red pepper flakes, sautéed in olive oil, and then you would add either fresh tomatoes or tomato sauce. I would say most often it would be tomato sauce if you're ordering in a restaurant, but either way, it makes a delicious base, not just for pasta, but for greens. I often just do garlic, fresh tomatoes, and on quite kind of a high heat, and then I throw in just a handful of different greens, and I only cook it for a few minutes, and I don't add the pasta because I like greens on their own a lot. So, okay, so that's cooking away. I think it's time that I'm going to check my pasta. Okay, and I can actually smell the herbs that I put in this water. It's very subtle in the end, but it just helps. It helps with the flavor. So this is not quite ready yet. It's okay. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes. Okay, so let me get rid of this. All right, so back to the greens. So now maybe if I was maybe cooking these separately, I might cook them at different times, but I've cut everything up very small. So I'm going to just throw everything in together. But I think it's going to be just fine. So I'm just going to throw in all these greens. There we go. And I'm going to add, not too much, just a little bit more salt. And I had salt. A little bit of pepper. So salt and pepper. Strip out of the way. You're going to want to gently, you're going to want to let it cook. Give it a little time, give it a few seconds, you know, before you start stirring it around. Okay, let's check this pasta. Okay. There's no other way to test it. By the time my greens finish cooking, 2 minutes, this pasta is going to be ready to put into here. So I just have to, so Sonia, I just have to step out of the camera for 1 minute. Sorry, I'll be right back.
While Chef is doing that, does anyone have any fun things that you're doing today after the class? Outside of eating, of course. I'm really excited to go outside.
I'm actually not sure what I'm doing. I know I'm practicing piano, and yeah, and then I'm having dinner, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe I'll watch.
Nice.
You have to do it somewhere else.
Anyone else?
I think I might go on a bike ride.
Who said that?
Yesterday, we went on a fabulous walk in the Don Valley and saw 2 Canada geese families, 2 sets of parents and 3 baby Canada geese. So we might go looking for them.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
All right, so the greens are almost done. How are the folks that are cooking along with me? Are you doing okay?
So maybe a good point to ask, does anyone have any questions, especially if you're cooking along right now? Maya and Leah look really busy. No questions? Okay.
All right.
Oh.
So, I know it's loud. I know it's kind of loud. So my greens are just sauteed. And
don't need a fork. Oh, you have the pasta?
That looks so cool. I mean, Maya and Leah. Oh my god.
Whoa. What are we supposed to do with the pesto? Pesto.
Pesto.
Yeah.
Pesto.
okay. Get my claws here.
Did you hear the question, Chef? Maya and Leah were just asking, they just showed us their amazing dish of spaghetti, and they were asking, what can they do with the pesto?
Oh, yes. I'm going to show you what you can do with the pesto. Just let me drain my pasta, and I will answer your question because I'm gonna show you right away. Okay. So my pasta is ready. I'm gonna put it right into the pan with my greens, just like that. Anything that resembles. Okay, so I have my pasta pan. I didn't talk. I don't know if you've drained your pasta yet. I have my pasta water right here that I've saved. It's one of the secret ingredients to creating this sauce. So it's called Italian sauce, if you will, or Italian liquid gold. So I'm going to take a little bit of this pasta water, which normally we throw it all out, but I'm going to add my pasta
liquid gold. Oh.
add about a cup. I'm going to add about a cup to my pasta, and I have it still on medium high. Medium high. Nope. Perfect. Perfect. And I'm gonna start stirring it a little bit. It's gonna come to a boil.
Yeah, we added the pasta water. And we put it on medium high.
Yeah, the pasta water.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be thick sauce. It's not gonna be thick. Just add a little, and you just want to keep. What's happening is that it's creating an emulsion, the oil and the water, just like a salad dressing. When you mix oil and vinegar, it's kind of a similar thing. So if you happen to have pasta cheese, I would add that too. Add a little pasta cheese, a little more salt and pepper. I'm going to add the pasta cheese right now. You can add as much as you want, as much as you like. Yeah.
Chef, what kind of cheese is that?
It's Pecorino Romano. It's a regional cheese it's a regional cheese from Romagna. It's one of my favorite cheeses, I have to say. So I use that one because it reminds me of my mother's cooking. We often use the Pecorino Romano, but definitely any of the hard Italian cheeses, Asiago, of course, the Parmigiano. Parmigiano is not as salty. So anyway, so I've got, I don't know if you can see it here. It doesn't create a thick sauce, but it creates sort of like it just sort of sticks to all the flavors stick to the pasta, and it's very nice. So I've got my finished pasta here, and earlier, as I said, I roasted some carrots right here. I've roasted some carrots, which I'm going to show you how to roast a bunch of vegetables next week. It's going to be super fun. I have it already worked out. Oops, I just broke the carrot. So anyway, I roasted whole carrots, the bottoms of the greens, and I have a chicken breast here, roasted chicken breast. So I'm going to take my pesto. Sorry, I had to have somebody finish this off while I was. So basically, I'm going to put some of this. I'm going to put some of this right onto my chicken, right onto my carrots. The carrot tops go beautifully with all these things, and I'm going to put some right into my pesto. Why not? It all goes really well together. It's going to taste great. And I'm going to add a little bit of extra mint. I'm going to add, where's my mint? I think mint goes real nice with carrot tops. So I'm going to add some mint to this pasta. I mean, you could add basil, or not that you don't have to add anything, but if you happen to have some fresh herbs around, and if you need any extra lemon juice or salt and pepper, you have to taste it, or extra cheese. You want it to have a nice, bright flavor. That's what the lemon does for it. It brings a little acidity to the dish. So I'm going to get my tongs right here. And now I'm going to mix it all together. Okay. All right. There we go. I'm just going to put a little bit, I don't know what's, I'm going to put a little bit in a bowl here. You get all these really delicious, healthy greens. Just gonna put that in my dish right there. I'm gonna maybe top it off with a piece of chicken, one of the carrots. I'll just sort of fold it in half there. A little bit of cheese on top, little pecorino romano. Okay, now it's time to taste. Okay. Buon appetito. That's what I wanted. I'm happy with that.